Last year, I said a major theme for 2021 was going to be preparation for a major split in our collective timelines, where we're going to be making choices to align us either with our spiritual sovereignty or to drift us further away from that reality. And as seen, we have experienced increased intensity to reorganize us into our respective affinities. Today, I'm going to be going over the themes for this coming year ahead. 2022 is going to have a much stronger physical component to it than 2021 did, even down to shifts in the magnetic plates of the Earth, which I will not be elaborating on. Remember that you impact the entire field. That's how powerful you are. So affirm what themes you will experience in this coming year ahead, and intend that you experience that with fulfillment and ease. That said, the energetic themes for 2022 are movement into the physical manifestation of the organic timelines. These are what some would refer to as the awakening or the higher timelines, as well as movement into, let's call it the synthetic timelines, through a lot of digital restructuring. How these are going to manifest in the third dimension is through a lot of restructuring in particular, as well as with mentioned digital restructuring, but also with economic and with interpersonal restructuring, as well as biological engineering and natural resources. Now, regarding the mental body, the themes are actually really interesting. These are a lot of deep evaluations that are going to be taking place, and this is a reevaluation of pretty much everything. The second theme is scarcity consciousness. Scarcity consciousness is going to be a bigger theme than the reevaluation of everything and our totality, but both are going to play prominent themes in the year 2022, as well as disaster management. Now, those are quite a few themes, so what I'm going to be focusing this video on is digital and interpersonal restructuring, as well as scarcity consciousness tied to natural resources. What many call the ascension energies that are very prominent on Earth are creating a sort of boiling point within the response of the collective's shadow. And this boiling point can be looked at like a I'm taking as many people down with me as I can kind of energy. And so we see a strong move made to redefine the construct of reality in order to circumvent the organic evolution of consciousness by means of a synthetic one. So I'll start with the beneficial themes for this coming year. Interpersonal restructuring. This is actually an alchemical process, and this theme will proceed into the coming years as well. This is a refining and a reorganizing of our updated beliefs into social groups that share more resonance with us. There has already been a lot of shifting in our belief systems and who we share an affinity with over the past few years, where we have either been polarized, attracted to, or repelled by ideas, people, concepts, and groups. It is this reducing or calcination that has inspired us to move into a direction that is more congruent with our respective growth. This is going to show up as the desire to actively find like-minded people who we share a strong resonance with in new group settings, even by physically moving, even by buying or selling land and property to do so. There will be a drifting away from former people, places, and things that have dropped out of vibrational resonance with our personal realm. If you've ever seen sand reorganize on a metal plate through the vibration of sound, like in somatics, that's a great visual representation of the interpersonal restructuring that will be taking place this year as new formations are materializing. This is going to enhance the growth that we have undergone from the past few years by experiencing it now through new interpersonal connections. Digital restructuring is going to roll out like no other. This is not just a theme for 2022, but the shadow side of the age of Aquarius as well. But this coming year is going to formally introduce what many of us have already known about for quite some time, and that's the inception of virtual realities. You'll hear me talk about this more in depth in the future, but point blank, they want to upload everyone in the cloud, and these are the baby steps to do that. I mentioned the synthetic timelines earlier, and this is what I was referring to. Now, ideally, technology complements spirit, and there is not only a harmony between the two, technology positively assists spiritual evolution. That's what things look like when we are in right relationship with technology. What determines its benefit or its detriment is intention. And the intention behind this form of restructuring is to generate more entropy. Because you can deter the collective consciousness from raising its vibration through increasing entropy. Entropy in this context is the degeneration of consciousness through disconnecting with objective reality. If you'd like to know more about this topic, let me know in the comments, and if enough people are interested, I will make a video covering entropy's effect on reality in depth. Entropy is chaotic in nature. We need some entropy to exist, but too much entropy causes de-evolution, and that leads to spiritual amnesia as well as being cut off from our higher guidance. In addition to that, it keeps us all cycling in this matrix, repeating reoccurring collective karma rather than generating liberating expressions of reality the organic way through the advancement of one's own consciousness. Digital restructuring in the year ahead also includes currency. This one is already pretty apparent. We've been slowly transitioning our currency, so I'm going to level with you. 2022 is going to have some scarcity consciousness vibes that create a necessity to restructure our currency. What's interesting is that since there will be a much bigger emphasis on the tangible and the physical, this also coincides with less of an emphasis in the collective toward the mystical and the metaphysical. This doesn't affect those who are already inclined toward higher consciousness, however. There's just going to be less of a general focus on the spiritual due to the emphasis on tangible value, disaster management, and digital innovation within the collective. Natural resources is a big theme, and this is going to play hand in hand with scarcity consciousness. Now, whenever it comes to natural resources, it's a good thing to understand that there isn't actually any lack in our resources. What there is either some sort of complication introduced to the natural process, which creates insufficiency, or that lack that we are told is straight up not true. But it's not an actual lack caused by demand. So scarcity consciousness is a contracting energy. Our consciousness is designed to naturally ebb and flow. It doesn't always need to be in an expansive state. But you can restrict the flux of consciousness in a way that channels our collective focus into survival mode and keeps it fixated there. We would be surprised if we knew how much of our thoughts, actions, and energy are expended towards survival alone in a day's time. These aren't even ring the alarm kind of thoughts. These are harmless and subtle, like, I'm out of water, or did I lock the house? A large percentage of our energetic reserves goes to our immediate well-being, which is unavoidable. However, scarcity consciousness is its own special hell. It puts us straight into doom, which motivates us to act from a place of fear. And we all know from Social Media University that fear is false evidence appearing real. Natural resources is something many have been discreetly accumulating in their own way for a while, even before last year. And there's no judgment there because, as mentioned earlier, survivalism is a strong priority in our experience, and foresight is a very positive thing to have. But think about what kind of energy meditating on natural resources, or lack thereof, produces. It's not an optimal energy to be in. It's rare to be in scarcity consciousness and to not be in the state of fear. On a larger scale, this theme can move us into certain socioeconomic directions, and not the most beneficial ones. And if it's showing up as a theme for this coming year, that gives us a glance into something important within our own microcosm world to be mindful of affecting the way we are making decisions, and thus the way we are creating. I hope this has helped empower you along your journey. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for higher dimensional guidance through spiritual awakenings. Thank you and see you next time.